There, let's talk about something that's happening literally every time you're on the web, even right now. It's this kind of hidden language that's working behind the scenes, making everything you do online feel so smooth and, instant.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about this? You're on a website, filling out a form, you type in your email, and bam! Instantly, a little red message pops up. It says the format's wrong. But you haven't even hit send yet. So, how in the world does it know?
Well, it's not exactly magic. What it is a conversation. A really quiet, really smart little dialogue that's happening right there inside your web browser. And if you can understand this conversation, you're going to understand how the modern web really truly works.
So to get what's going on, you gotta meet the two main players in this conversation. We call them the client and the server. Every single time you're online, these two are talking.
All right, so on one side, you've got what we call the client. And that's really just a fancy word for your web browser. Chrome, Firefox, whatever you're using. The client is the one that does the asking. And on the other side, that's the server. Just picture a really powerful computer out there somewhere that holds all the website's data. So the client asks, and the server answers. That's the basic relationship.
But it wasn't always this slick. This conversation used to be, well, kind of slow. A bit clumsy even. Let's take a quick look at how things used to work back in the early days of the web. Back in the day, every little thing you did, and I mean everything, meant a full round trip. You'd type in a web address, your browser, the client, had to send a request all the way across the internet. The server would get it, find the page, and then send it all the way back. Only then would anything actually show up on your screen.
So, think about this. If you filled out a form and made a tiny mistake, you'd have to hit submit, wait for that info to travel all the way to the server, wait for the server to check it, and then wait for it to send a whole new page back just to say, whoops, try again. It was literally like making a long-distance call for every single question.
Okay, but that's obviously not how the web feels today, right? It's fast, it's responsive, things got a lot smarter, and this whole conversation completely evolved.
And this is where the game completely changes. It's this idea called client-side scripting. Now, when a server sends you a web page, it doesn't just send the page itself. It also tucks in a little instruction manual. This manual basically empowers your browser, the client, to think for itself and handle a bunch of smaller tasks all on its own, without having to phone home to the server every 2 seconds.
So what language is this little instruction book written in? For the most part, it's a language you've probably heard of called JavaScript. It was built for this exact job, to live inside a web page and basically bring it to life, to make it interactive right there on your computer.
And don't let the word code scare you. These instructions can be really, really simple. I mean, look at this. You don't have to be a coder to take a good guess at what that does, right? It just tells the web page, hey, write the words hello world. It's just a set of simple commands.
This is the perfect example. Think about it. When you're signing up for a Gmail account and you start typing a username, your browser is using that little instruction manual to have a super fast, behind-the-scenes chat with the server right then and there. It checks if the name's available and gives you an instant answer, all without you ever having to reload the page. That's the smart conversation. And here's the cool part. Once you see it, you start seeing these quiet conversations happening everywhere. They are the engine that makes the modern web actually feel, well, modern.
I mean, really think about all the things this makes possible. That instant feedback on a form? That's the conversation. You hover your mouse over something and it animates? That's your browser just following its instructions. Interactive maps that you can just drag around, drop-down menus that appear smoothly, videos that just play. All of that stuff is possible because your browser is smart enough to handle it right there, without that slow trip back to the server. When you boil it all down, that's the real magic here. This is what transformed the web from basically a collection of static digital documents, like pages in a book, into the rich, dynamic, almost app-like experience that we all just expect today.
So I've got a little mission for you. Nothing crazy. The next time you're just browsing the web, try to notice it. Just pay attention to when something on the page happens or changes without the entire page having to do that full, clunky reload. That's it. When you see that, you're seeing the conversation in action.
Because that's really what's happening. It's this beautiful, constant, invisible dialogue going on between your browser and all the sites you visit. It's this quiet conversation that takes a simple page of information and makes it truly feel alive. Thanks so much for joining me.